Hey guys, and welcome back to the Path to Exile Podcast, episode 10. Partner with Mobalytics, I am Cal Torek, and joining me per usual is Miso Shiro and Dead Rabbit. And if you're new here, keep in mind we are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, so if you do like the audio-only format, check us out there. We got an exciting episode. We have a new patch. We were a little concerned that the patch wouldn't come out before the episode, and then GGG just hot dropped it yesterday. Patch notes, and then the patch literally 15 minutes later, so we're just going to be diving straight into that. But before we do that, we like to start the episodes off with a little bit of bro talk, catch up on what we've been up to the last week. Miso, what have you been up to, at least in terms of your life build crafting and streaming the last week? Pre-patch, at least.
Yeah, I mean, definitely didn't just talk about this before the podcast just started. Sorry. But no. Right now I am doing last night we were just doing like map testing and stuff like that, so I went back onto my the Herald Chain Flicker Strike Ritualist. That was what I was playing for the stream last night. But before that happened, with all the updates, I was working on a I mean, I don't know if it's a flavor of the month, but definitely it's like somewhat, I mean, it's still kind of niche, but it's a Ignite Reflect build. It was based off of this one Reddit thread / YouTuber who made an Abyssal Lich where he basically was using Crackle Creep to reflect ignites that he would put onto himself. So he would ignite enemies. The ignite would reflect back onto himself, and he used Crackle Creep to pro-lift the ignites around him to the enemies around him. And I was basically doing that and trying to get it through the campaign. It's going to be a simulacrum AFK character, so really just like taking advantage of the fact that you can just stand there and the enemies come to you and they're just going to ignite themselves and die. And then for the range characters, I'm going to be killing them with a Shrine Scepter, like the Meteor Shrine Scepter. So kind of taking a little bit of inspiration from Lazy Exile's full AFK Simulacrum character, but also this Ignite character as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think that one of the main problems with the build is that it takes like a second and a half for the enemies to like get the Ignite proliferated onto them, right? Which a lot of times if your character is a little bit too squishy, then that's going to be a big problem. But if I'm using a recoup build, that problem entirely disappears because it doesn't matter that the enemies are smacking you because you're just kind of immortal anyways. Unless you're getting hit by like a ginormous hit all at once, you're just going to shrug it all off. So that's kind of the plan with it, and I'm looking forward to seeing the final build come together. But, had to take a little bit of a break last night when the new patch stuff came out.
What about you, Rabbit? You got a new build this week? We all have new build. We're finally back in the phase where we're all just printing builds and we're not just on the same one build for a month. So it's really cool to see. Yeah. Rabbit, what about you, man?
Yeah, it was like kind of surprising, and I think we talked about this on the last podcast. I was kind of surprised that we are now almost exactly 1 month in. Basically, we're like 30 days in now, and I'm on the third build, which is kind of out of the norm for me usually, because I swap build basically every week, or it kind of depends a little bit on what's going on right now. But this league was definitely a little bit different because I started off with ED Contagion, and it was so enjoyable and so good, and there was so much to discover in the build and so much more to min-max in the build, and that is why I kind of stayed on that build for 2 weeks. And then I had 2 weeks for the Last Lament crossbow build, and that lasted for a long time because again, it was so enjoyable. There was so much new stuff to discover on it, and just like in terms of build making and like min-maxing, there was so much more stuff to do. And now, just like 3 days ago, I started the Blood Mage Spark again, and now I switched it to a Ritualist version. I started off on the Blood Mage Spark because I wanted to go for a high rarity version, because there's a lot of discussions right now about rarity and diminishing returns, and I've had the discussion on my stream a lot of times over the past few days about diminishing returns and what diminishing returns actually means, by the way. And yes, we all know at 150% diminishing returns start, yes. But what I've been doing on the Blood Mage Spark, I went with, I think, around 290% rarity, and now I switched to a Ritualist version, where now I have basically perfect rarity without sanctifying, and now I have 440 rarity on that Ritualist.
That's insane.
Which also kind of goes to around 200 movement speed on maps, using just one button, Spark, and it's basically it kind of turned into a farming simulator now, because it's basically just I'm sitting there, I'm just running at 200% movement speed through the map, and just holding Spark, because I also have almost no movement speed penalty while casting Spark, so I can just keep it pressed. Basically, it's absolutely insane. It's probably, again, and I've said this like 3 times this league now, I've played 3 builds this league, and I would say all of the 3 builds I've so far used, I've been saying about these builds that is the most fun build I've played so far in PvE2. So I feel like it has to end at some point. There has to be a build at some point where I'm going to be like, yeah, this is not the most fun build that I've played in PvE2 so far. But right now, it just is. We had the movement speed discussion and everything. It's definitely part of that. And having the high movement speed is definitely big part of it, but it's just, yeah, it's amazing. And then we had the Clutchcore event on the weekend, which was super fun, which Miso also participated in with another team. Kind of ditched on your team a little bit. I still feel
I wonder what happened there.
Wonder what happened. It was like high school all over again. No, that was super fun. I hope more events like this will be coming as well, because I think it's a very good very good sign that people are actually enjoying these kinds of events. I was a little bit, I felt disrespected though, because we were still in like Act 4 or something, and they already ended the stream. And me,
it was
Lance,
before
and
Act 4,
Fargo were
dude.
like,
It was Act 3.
Yeah?
Yeah, the chat came in during Act 3 before we even got to the Matland waterways, because we were, maybe we were holding a little bit of a grudge, maybe we weren't, I don't know, with your team, but we were having chat, keep an eye out on your team, and they're like, oh, they're, they just cleared Act 2, they're behind you by like X amount, right? And then we're like, oh shit, let's go. But they're like,
yeah, and tell me what happened, just so I forgot.
I mean, the race eventually just ended, and then we were making a small little.
No, I mean, which team won in the end?
A small little bet that we were gonna go race to the end of Act 3, and then as a result, we kind of pushed ourselves a little bit too much, and then without thinking about the consequences, because the race already ended. So we died at Viper, It was, and it was unofficial, so we were like, you know what, let's just go, let's just have fun, right? And then we ended up kind of dying at Viper. We were ahead until then, we basically won. By the time the race ended, we were ahead.
You were not ahead at Viper.
Oh, we were. At least that's what chat was saying. No,
they were lying to you, because you came in, Loco rated me when we were at Doyani. There's no way. And then they said, yeah, we just died on Viper, and we were already at Doyani.
Loco had been dead for a while, Loco had been dead for a while.
Okay. What I saw though for you, there were a lot of good clips for the Clutchcore event. I think, like I already said, I think it's a very good example for these types of events. I think that's gonna be something, hopefully, that GGG sees for the future, because that is the stuff I live for, both as a viewer, as someone who then after the fact watched all the highlights and whatever, and as someone who's already also participating in it. That was just so much. It was so much fun. I saw some clips, like the Otter clip. Otter Jones, I think his name is, had like both of his teammates died on Count Geonor, and he was fighting Count Geonor for that's not even a joke. It was like 10 minutes. He fought Count Geonor alone and clutched it out. That is just one of the most legendary things that could ever happen to you. I also saw the clip of your teammate King Kongor, for example, when you guys died to the slam by Monkey.
The Monkey, yeah.
And he immediately, it's such a good clip, because he's like on the clip, you can like see his face. He's like, oh shit, they both died. And then he looks at his screen and he goes like full focus mode, kites all the way around, immediately goes back, rests both of you, and you're like,
Clutch God.
It's just, it's such a good idea.
Why didn't they clip the moments where? Why didn't they include the moments where they both died on me and I clutched it up and revived them?
No.
Oh, man.
No. King Kongor got held back by you two. Whatever.
I mean, he definitely did. He definitely did. Let's be real. That's actually what happened. But
that's cool. I've never played group play ARPGs before. I've always just
same.
been like a solar blaster. So it's cool to see. Oh, so you're the same. So it's cool to see that your experience with it was that much fun.
Yeah, it was good. But,
that's cool. That's
yeah,
cool.
One thing I will say though, again on the feedback side of things, it definitely is very like interesting because like it felt like there were kind of two camps. It felt like there was the serious camp where these people were like sweating real hard.
Oh yeah.
And then there was like our camp where we were just kind of getting in there, just trying to have a good time. Where it's like clearly we weren't going to win, but at the same time, like because of the fact that there's two camps. They're basically one camp was basically always shown on the stream, which is the camp that's ahead, right? They're gonna keep it. They're high on the people in the lead and everything like that. So like, it felt a little bit like kind of weird. It was fun, right? It was enjoyable, but I thought it would have been even more fun if potentially we could have had a race where it's like an actual serious race where everybody's actually gonna be competing for number one, and then it's just like super neck and neck, right? And then also like another race where it's like this is just the fun group, right? And this is like the one where people are coming in with no preparation whatsoever, and hilarity ensues. And then again, that would be a lot more competitive because all these people would be coming in with pretty much no experience and just trying to have a lot of fun. Whereas with this one, it was kind of like we already know which groups are going to be in the top four. Like we already know what's going to happen. It was a little bit crazy that Ang and Gormus' group. I mean, I know Sarge is really, really good, but Angormus he has not lost anything pretty much yet. And his team has suffered the loss. So that was really surprising. But other than that, it was like you kind of knew which groups were going to be in the lead and which groups weren't going to be in the lead. So I would have loved to see just that split happening, just so that it would have been like more of like, oh, who's going to win? Nobody knows.
Yeah.
I think it would be cool if they did like randomized teammates. That way, like, it was just like it was just completely wild, and like you just show up, you get two random teammates. You don't know, like someone might not know how to play EDCon, but your group needed an EDCon Lich, so like you have to like do a weird little shuffle and stuff. I feel like that would make it more like for fun for like the casual side. But like you said, I get that what you're saying about the split audiences. I think it was cool either way. As a first attempt at something like this, I enjoyed everything I watched of it. I was ping ponging between your two streams. I thought it was a cool event. I don't know, it was sweet.
Yeah. It was also fun to get 1 hour of sleep. That was also fun. I tried hard. Yeah, no, because the race started when I normally go to sleep. So I tried sleeping earlier and I got 1 hour. Like I could only sleep an hour. So that was pretty rough. I mean, I'm also running off of 2 hours of sleep right now because last night was rough. But, that's because of me, not because of the race or any other reason.
Yeah, and then we have you up early.
What I'm hearing is excuses. Yeah,
I'm just making excuses for why I died.
Yeah, I just hear excuses. No wonder Kongor had to carry your asses.
No, we definitely held them back.
Well, for my week, it's been very fun. I have had my worldview perspective changed when it comes to ARPG builds. I'm normally just like a weird shithead off meta build kind of guy, and I accidentally made a insanely, at least from my standard of builds, it's the best performing build I've ever played in an ARPG. It gets over 200% move speed in Sanctum. It's like a mapper. It's like it's leaning into Culling Strike, so it's still got kind of the meme stuff that I like about it. But it's like in terms of performance, I have never moved this fast before. Period in this game, and I don't know how I'm gonna go back to playing Thorns because this build is just so fast. It is a night and day experience going from 100 to 200% movement speed to like 15. It's just like Okay, this is a very different game. So I know I've made my first actual blaster character, and it's been so much goddamn fun. I don't know how else to put it. Like you said, this is like you keep saying it's the most fun build you've ever played. Like that's how I feel like now. I feel like I want to league start this build just because of how much enjoyment I've gotten out of just blasting on it. I've made more currency the last week, even before I got Hinakora's lock. The more currency the last week on this character than I've probably made the last 2 seasons. It's just a night and day difference when you have an actual character that can do all content fast. It's not about like one-shotting stuff. It's about doing it fast. Like there's just 100+% move speed is just. It's nothing compares to it.
I'm sensing some character development here. Wait,
I said my worldview is shifted, bro.
Yes. What episode is this? Episode 10. By episode 20 or something, you're gonna be sitting here like sweaty like me. Multiple mirrors deep, like 400% movement speed, fob gooning all the way around. I feel like there's some development here that is very, very interesting. Well, you're one of us now, I guess. You're one of us now. Oh, I'm doing all the thorns off meta stuff and meaningful combat gameplay, and now you're just You're just one of us.
Of you. I'm one of you. Oh no, I'm one of them now.
Just one of us. Just holding a button, salivating outside of your mouth. Just dopamine.
That's the gameplay experience. It's literally just. Like that's the gameplay experience, and it's so damn enjoyable. It's so damn enjoyable. I don't know, man.
That's why I don't stream with the camera because literally. That's why I don't stream with the camera because literally on my Spark build right now, I'm sitting there like this.
But it's so enjoyable, man. It's just so fun. Yeah, I know it's a really cool build. And it's leaning into Culling Strike. I've never done a Culling Strike build. Like I've always had used Culling Strike before, but just baseline. Increasing the threshold of it was really cool. Most common moms are dying, I think, at 91% life. So it's just they're instantly cold.
That's crazy.
I don't know, it's a really fun build. And then I'm doing an Arctic Armor build again. Miso talked about how he's doing the self-prolification with Immolate. I was about to do my old Blood Mage Arctic Armor, and then a viewer told me, hey, check out this Ignite thing, and I'm doing something similar. So it's been a really fun week in terms of build craft. Like I'm finally I don't know. I get a lot of enjoyment from making multiple builds, and I regret spending so much time trying to like figure out the Thorns archetype for that first month. Like I'm having way more fun the last week than I had fun the first month, but it's just it's good to be back to just messing around with fun ideas. I don't know.
Yeah, the build looks awesome. I told you that already. The build looks fucking super, super nice.
Yeah, the whole ricochet plus chain, what is it? Whatever armor piercing rounds? Is that what you're using?
Yeah, armor piercing rounds, yeah.
Yeah, it looks super cool. Like when you put the thumbnail with a photo of Mega Man on it, I was like, this is it matches exactly what I'm thinking about for this build. It was so cool. Like, I mean, you could kind of call it like a Stormtrooper build too, if you're talking about we were talking about before.
Just shooting really everywhere. Cool. Just like it kind of reminded me, I don't know what the hero was. There's like multiple ways of that ultimate in some games, but the one I'm remembering right now is like, and this is that's the perfect example since you are into Heroes of the Storm. It's kind of like Vala ulti.
Everyone says it's like D3. Like they say it looks like D3.
The Demon Hunter.
Demon Hunter builds,
where it comes
That's what everyone keeps telling
where it comes from.
And that's where Vala's from too, so yeah.
Yeah, I played that in Diablo 3, the Demon Hunter thing. But isn't that in Heroes of the Storm? Isn't that the Vala ulti in Heroes of the Storm? Yeah, it's exactly like that. It's just like one in the middle and then just shooting in a circle around you. And also like the Vampire Survivors aspect.
Yeah,
it's so cool. Super cool. And that it's on a Witch Hunter as well makes it a little bit crazy as well. Are you utilizing the weapon set skill points at all?
No.
Is that the reason?
Not with this
Why
build.
Witch Hunter then? Just because of Culling Strike?
Yeah, I just want to do a Culling Strike build, and I don't know. Even before the patch, I've been saying how I've been like I think last patch, a few of the builds I showcased were Sorcery Ward techs. Where just Sorcery Ward made people unkillable. I've always been a fan of Witch Hunter, but no, it was specifically I saw the Culling Strike helmet, and I was like, oh, I didn't realize you could increase the threshold by this much, and then it grew from there. I don't know. It started with the helmet.
Are some of the Culling Strike nodes on the passive tree? Is that a big part?
Yeah, like one of them's 40%, one of them's 25%. When the nodes before it is another 15%, and then there's another one that's 25%. Then you get 25% from a support gem.
I'm
Heart
kind
of
of
the
thinking
Wells,
Titan.
25. Oh yeah, I mean
Kinda
Titan would be
thinking
cool for it
Titan.
too. Titan would be for the problem
Oh,
is
yeah,
with the
also.
with a non Witch Hunter is you have to put the Culling Strike support gem in your skills to get it to cull. So Witch Hunter just gets base Culling Strike, so it's a
Okay.
little more comfy there. But yeah, I mean Titan's good for a lot of things too. So
Titan's just a universally good class. Just does everything as long as it reaches it on the tree.
yeah, no, Titan is everyone loves hooking for him. I hope it never gets nerfed. I hope they like it's, and I really like that. Like everyone talks about, like I just don't having to get the extra storage space before it. I fucking love the extra storage space. I don't know.
I
The
always
extra
wish
storage
I had
space
I
is
always
really
forget
cool.
about it.
Oh really?
Like we call it in my stream, we call it the prison pocket. And
Yeah, because you don't open it.
Yeah, I always forget about it. It's always closed for me, and then 2 weeks later or something, I like click the button on accident, and it's like, oh fuck!
Why do you close
there's like a guardian bow in there. Apparently, I don't know. I just forget about it. It's just closed for me, and I forget.
There's just like divines hidden in there for weeks.
Yeah, I don't know.
That'd be bad.
I don't know. I've lost things in there.
I definitely always wish I had the Titan little extra storage, because like I like putting like currency in there just to like make sure my inventory's neat and clean enough for everything else, and that's where I just keep all my currency in there, and then I just don't have to worry about like, oh, now I don't have like an exalt to go and like exalt this map or whatever. So that's why I like having it. But I don't know. It takes me to a conversation that I had on my stream of like design for different ascendancies. And there's certain ascendancies where it's just kind of like, this is the thing for the ascendancy. And like everybody who takes the ascendancy takes that. And then everything else is a little bit underwhelming in a sense. Like, for example, like Ritualist, it's like, it's a really good ascendancy, but you take the extra ring slot and then everything, like there's literally half the people on the top of the ladder, they take the ring slot stuff. And then the other stuff, they don't even take the notables. They just take the minor ones. And yeah, if you look at Ritualists, if you go to the top, like 5 or 10 Ritualists, it's like they take the ring slot stuff, right? And then the other points, they just don't even take any of the other notables.
Well, one of them's like 3% physical damage.
Speed.
One's a movement speed, right? So that does kind of make sense.
Yeah, but
that's exactly what I'm
but
doing.
It helps your point, though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like literally the notables are so bad that they'd rather take the minor ones. Like I don't know. So it's that, or like Chayula Monk, like literally that half part with like darkness and stuff like that is pretty much never used. So it's like there's just some ascendancies where it's like, this is a little bit like weird, where you're literally always taking the same nodes because the other nodes are just like not useful, or like they're just bad in terms of number scaling. So there are a couple of ascendancies like that, and I feel like Titan is a little bit like that, where it's like you're always taking hulking form, you're never not taking it. And then, maybe you're taking the slam stuff, right? If you're doing slams, but a lot of Titan builds will just take hulking form, and then the other stuff is kind of like an afterthought.
If you're armor stacking, the body armor thing's nice, and the max life thing's nice too, but yeah.
I feel like that is kind of the case for a lot of ascendancies. So, like you already said, I like Deadeye, for example, as well. Tailwind is definitely a big part of it. I feel like every single ascendancy has like that one shining light in their ascendancy notes, and then all the other stuff kind of takes a backseat a little bit.
I think Blood Mage is a good example of one that's like there's everything is like good.
But I would argue Blood Mage, for example, as well. I would argue that 95% of all Blood Mages have the same ascendancy nodes as well. I think I think a good example for a very well balanced ascendancy is probably the Lich. I would say most of the time it is going to be or like the most variety that you have in a single ascendancy, because I've seen a lot of Liches who don't even go the Eternal Life thing and are like a minion build or whatever, or take the Unholy Might for more chaos damage while for mana. I think Lich might actually be a good example for someone that is pretty for ascendancy that is pretty varied that way. But yeah, I think that's always gonna be the case a little bit, that there's like this main reason why this ascendancy is now why people are now gravitating towards this ascendancy because of this node.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, I agree, but also, like, there's some ascendancies where it's just like this other stuff is useless. Whereas, like, you talk about Deadeye, you said most people go Tailwind, but for the frenzy stacking builds, they all go up the frenzy side of things. For the projectile builds, they go the additional projectiles, and then for like melee characters, they go like the marked ascendancies called shots. Right? They're everything's useful, right? Everything is useful and can be used for a build. Whereas again, with something like Ritualist, like Blood Boil is complete trash. I mean, you can use it for, I guess, the AFK Sibu, but it's like that's kind of about it, and nobody else will take anything else. Like like it's one thing for like these other things to be like a little bit underpowered, but like that you can see like, oh, I can use this for like the X type of build or Y type of build, right? Like, for example, Gemling, I think has a lot of the stuff is a little bit underpowered, but then like you can see like these are like synergistic with certain builds and stuff like that. But then with something like, I don't know, Ritualist, it's like, what type of build am I using with like these other, like, I don't know, the self, like, whatever cutting for like the headhunter stuff. Like nobody's using that for any build.
No.
So it's like
so bad.
Yeah, so it's like there's some classes where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I can see these other things being used for builds, but then like there's some classes where it's like, what am I doing with the rest of this stuff? It's just not useful.
I think Ritualist is like the best example of that for sure. Like, because you just go Ritualist because you want to utilize a third ring, whether it's for extra stats or because you want to utilize another unique socket or another unique ring effect. So yeah, I think that's the most extreme example there.
Those two Ascendancy nodes could just be an Ascendancy on its own.
I mean, that's literally
more
is.
Ascendancy, the 25% more, like basically the ingenuity for all your jewelry, and then the third ring slot. Just those two nodes could be an Ascendancy on its own. On all the other stuff, then it's just like I didn't even realize before you were just saying that, because I said like Deadeye is mainly Tailwind. But that is probably, I just realized that just now. That is probably also one of the reasons why Deadeye is the best Ascendancy for most cases. Because that is probably the Ascendancy where most of the Ascendancy nodes are just good.
Yeah. You can use it for anything. Like, you can use it for a melee character. You can use it for
there's melee Deadeyes now that are really good.
You just do anything.
I didn't even realize, because I have yet to play a single Deadeye character because I'm a hipster.
As he's playing Spark for the 18th time.
I mean, Spark is technically not meta.
I like Spark.
No, I wouldn't say Spark is hipster. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think
last season I say it was. Maybe not this season, but last season I think that people were like pooping on.
Oh yeah, no one was
Spark.
really playing it last season. You're right. It was like
people have been saying ever since the Spark dominance in 0.1, and after the nerfs, kind of from 0.1 to 0.2, everyone still to this day comes in and is like, wait, Spark? I thought Spark is dead. Because the narrative back then, from 0.1 to 0.2, there was such a huge narrative for like weeks that Spark is dead because it got nerfed somehow. Mm-hmm. I don't think Spark is ever gonna be dead. To just take the discussion, or like to have like a little tangent on that, I think just Spark is always going to be good. Like, of course, if they now go like nerf it again, and of course it can be destroyed, but just by the mechanics of what Spark does, it will always be a good skill because it's just so low effort. There's not many skills in the game that do what Spark can do. In just like you press, it's one button press. You don't have to aim it anywhere. You don't have to do anything. It's not a projectile that just flies and is gone. But it's just like it's just. I don't know how to like take a comparison or whatever, but it's just like it's so low effort. It's just like click and then 15 projectiles that just stay on there for the next 6 seconds. It's always going to be good. Not the numbers don't really matter because, for example, last league it was mainly a vessel. You didn't really care about the Spark damage at all because Spark was only a vessel for getting the procs for cast on critical out as much as possible and getting as many Choir of the Storm procs as possible. Now it actually is again something where you care about the Spark damage because, for example, on the life stacking build that I'm doing right now, we don't even have Spirit or anything else. It's just about the Spark damage in that case. So it is so versatile. It is so good. And I think barring any like giga nerfs to it again, it will always be something that can be used on basically any single spellcaster just by the nature of what it does on the baseline. It's just so easy. Button press.
You're over a million DPS right now with it, right?
I topped on the Blood Mage. I did some min-maxing for just damage, like 3.5 mil on Blood Mage. There is possibilities to go even higher.
I think
like if you're just going for damage on Spark tooltip DPS, you can go like 9-10 mil.
Yeah, I was
and
listening
on
to
my
Barricade
Ritualist now, I'm
Try's.
1.5. Sorry.
I was listening to Barricade on Try's podcast the other day, and his is like 8 mil plus.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's sick.
You can go absolutely. It's probably
and you're having
also
what, like 60
Louis
projectiles
right?
out? It's a lot. What'd you say, Rabbit? Sorry.
It's also Louis though, right? It's also
sure.
life stacking. Yeah. I mean, the whole life stacking archetype right now is just. I'm not gonna say it's broken, but
it's broken.
I'm doing it half-assed on my gemling right now with I'm doing no elemental res with the Veil of Night, and I'm doing armor conversion where all of my elemental damage is converting to armor, and I'm like half-assed doing it, and it's very powerful. Like, yeah, it's crazy.
Any build right now with at least 8,000 life just slaps on a Wrath Pith and it's done.
GG.
You can use any skill, you can use any caster skill, you can use any skill with that combination. It's just gonna be enough damage to do any content in the game.
Yep. Louis, Tech Rods, Wrath Pith, all that stuff, just absolutely taking builds to the moon. I think my buddy Seti also watches the stream and stuff like that. He was telling me that he had a skill go from tooltip 39k to 139k after slapping on like Louis. Like, it's just absolutely insane.
Yep. A little bit overtuned, I think, on that side. I don't think it's gonna survive.
As expected, though.
For now, gives us a lot of stuff to test around, because I'm already thinking a little bit what to do next after Spark, because I will still try some more stuff with both the low life mechanic, because that is gonna facilitate a lot of skills, I think, that you can use, and also now just the life stacking one. Because whatever you can do with Wrath Pith now, and there's gonna be some more stuff to test out there, which is super, super nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my Lich is also gonna be low life for the recoup thing, and because it is Lich recoup, the life is not gonna move up. So.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. That's cool. That sounds fun.
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, I'm excited for both those. That sounds cool. All right, cool. Well, let's talk about the podcast or the patch notes then. We have a patch that came out yesterday, and it had one of the most anticipated changes we've been wanting for a long time in Endgame. Let's just dive straight into the towers and tablet reworks. I did very little maps. I only did 10, and I've never been a real map juicer, so my experience feels like at least it's better from just being able to just go. I'm Citadel hunting. That's all I've been doing. It's like, I can finally just go for Citadel, and like that's what I enjoy doing. But in terms of like my currency per hour and stuff, like I don't notice it. It just feels exactly the same. So I'm just curious how much you guys have done with the new mapping, and what are your thoughts on it?
I know Rabbit's done a lot, so maybe we'll start with you.
Yeah, I've been doing testing today. I can't say how many maps I've been doing today. Before the podcast, I've had like a 9-hour stream, I think. I've maybe done. I might be completely wrong here, but I've done something around like 50 to 100 maps, I would say, today. Just testing like all the various choosing strategies. And I also have not tested anything today on like maps that I've chosen before the update, because there was the big thing today that it was kind of a question yesterday, and I was in the camp that I said that I didn't think they would let us like double dip into juicing, and a lot of people were saying obviously that it will happen, and I also lost a bet to someone regarding that. So they did let us double dip juicing. So all the testing that I did today was completely on maps that were untouched basically, and that will also still be the case in 2 weeks even, because I see a lot of people right now doing maps and going like, oh my god, the loot is amazing, and it's like, yeah, it's a 4-tower setup, before the patch, and they have like 120 quantity already on the setup, and then they go in with 3 more tablets with even more quantity or even more rarity or even more rare monsters or whatever. That to me didn't seem like a good way to test these things right now. So it is a little bit with a grain of salt right now with all the testing that is happening. I do understand though how fun it is right now to do these Giga Juice maps, but I'm kind of looking a little bit into the future, into the next 2 weeks, and I want to know how much it is actually, or how it's actually going to look after all the pre-juicing, or however you want to call it, is gone. And today it was kind of okay, I would say. I've had a lot of people in my chat go that apparently they felt like, or it was like half and half, I would say. A lot of people in chat were under the impression that the loot was completely gone for them. Then some other people were under the impression that the loot is amazing now, and some other people didn't really feel a change. So as always, it is like the opinions vary in ways that is kind of, in the end, you're kind of at the same place still. So what I can only say is what happened for me. And the first strategy I was doing, for example, I was only juicing at the first few maps, or like the first 20 or 30 maps I was juicing for rare monsters. Because when I saw the changes this morning and I saw what the deal now is, basically, I saw that, for example, you can do maximum 30% quantity on a map now, but you can go with map tablets, you can go 120% increase rare monsters. Added on top onto the Paranoia installment, that is, I think 45% or something
like that. Yeah.
45%, I think it's 15 per. That's 45%. And then you can also go Chaotic Monsters, which is also. So today I've had maps with up to 500% more rare monsters, which is, in my mind, it was very, very good. The downside to that strategy, though, was that, of course, you don't really have any quantity then, and you don't have any multiplicative rarity other than your character rarity, and you also don't have really like added modifiers or something. So I'm still testing. I'm also testing to do not as much rare monsters, but then add quantity on the tablets, and add a fear as the installment for the rare monsters to have more modifiers. That was working out quite well, I think. I was also just testing straight up rarity with quantity. Yeah, the verdict, I have to say, is still completely open. I've had, I would say, in around 50 maps today, I had like 15 raw diff drops with some other stuff. I had like a double Omen of Light drop one time, but that is a Abyssal Coffer, so that doesn't really count, I guess. So yeah, I think the verdict is still open. I don't think, to counteract a little bit of the narrative that was happening today, I don't think map juicing is dead, especially not on the first day of the patch. I think saying that map juicing is dead right now is a little bit too much. I am still like, for me, it's still like a mixed bag. I had some maps today where I was feeling like, oh god, this seems like super barren, and then I had some good maps as well, though. So I personally, I just need more testing. I just need more testing for myself before I can actually decide it for myself, because I heard like 69 different opinions today. Like I said already, with people saying it's completely dead, with people saying it's amazing. So I'm just someone, I need a good sample size. I just need more testing. I just need to do more different strategies, and then I can actually say what I think the deal is. I think there's going to be adjustments, because there seems already to be like a hive mind of people saying that it seems bad. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, so I didn't really get too much testing. I focused most of my time around like looking for the new maps, or like not the new maps, but the balanced maps, and trying to see like, oh, is like the smaller maps like actually feeling better, or is like the bigger map, like what, like the maps got smaller, right? Like which ones feel better, which ones feel maybe worse, which ones didn't change. That's kind of like where I focused a lot of my attention around. But when it comes to like the conversation about like, did the loot get buffed or did the loot get nerfed, right? I completely agree. It's really way too early to really give a true opinion on whether or not the loot got buffed or nerfed. But just off the rip, right? I think that a lot of people are looking at this at a potentially incorrect way. Because yes, they scaled the quantity down, but the thing is, right? In the past, let's say you're running, 50 maps, right? Maybe 40 of those maps are getting to the triple tower setup, and the last 10 are taking advantage of the triple tower setup. So for 40 maps, you're running unjuiced maps, and you're running juiced maps for 10 maps. So basically it means that for 40 maps, you're getting almost nothing, and then you're getting everything on those 10 juice maps, which means like you're getting like a ton of dopamine hit on those 10 juice maps. But the thing is, for the other ones, it's a goddamn barren wasteland. I was trying to do like a kind of, I guess, comparison last night. I'm pulling it up on my stream. It's like, let's say you're running 15 maps, right? It ends up being that these first 10 maps, you're basically getting nothing, and you're getting everything here. But now you're running every single map juice, which means at the end of the day, it's, you know, probably either the same or potentially more, even if you're just going off of quantity, right? Let's say you're like, quantity is still the best way to do it, which it might not be. We might be getting some new stuff, right? But if you're juicing every single map with 30% quantity, that is potentially the same, or, you know, if anything, even if it's a little bit worse, at least you're having like a really, really good experience for those first 10 maps and the next 5, as opposed to this, where it's like first 10, really garbage. You're getting nothing. Then all of a sudden you're getting everything from there. Like people aren't thinking about that at all when they're saying like, oh, this feels so bad. They nerfed the loot completely. Quantity's dead, right? It's just being spread across more evenly across your maps as opposed to being a huge burst. That's kind of like, for me, the verdict that I walked away with. But the other thing is that, again, there's new strategies. Like, the numbers have been changed. There's been new modifiers have been added, right? Like, for example, I was talking about this on stream, and Lolcall was doing that when I raided into him. But there's things like +1 Rogue Exile now guaranteed every on map tablets. You can go and slot those into maps with abyssal cracks and try to farm Heart of the Wells, right? You can target farm Heart of the Wells now, which you weren't able to do before. And like that could be a great way to juice your maps and get a lot of stuff. I was watching Lolcall. He got like 3 Heart of the Wells within like an hour of farming or something, an hour and a half farming. He revealed it, first Heart of the Well, extra chaos damage, extra cold damage. Big money right there. Yeah, like, you know, there's new ways to juice the maps. Like, and honestly, this is exciting. At least for me. I don't know about everybody else in the chat. Maybe they're just fine with being drones and running quantity all day and, you know, being that. But for me, it's exciting that there's new ways to test things out. And then now you can cater certain, like, maybe it's not just one strategy anymore. Maybe it's not just quantity anymore. Maybe you can do these other things too that are like really cool, where it's like maybe one might be not as good as the other. Maybe it's like slightly worse, but they're comparable, they're competitive, and it's a different way of farming. It's not always just about quantity juicing. It's not always just about rarity juicing. You're going to be able to tailor strategies to the way that you like to farm and still get a competitive farming method. Like, there's just... It's so early to really say anything right now. And again, even if, let's just go off of the fact that rarity or quantity might still be the best way to juice it, right? It's just that the quantity is now spread across all the maps as opposed to just being like in that one little burst, which honestly, again, in my opinion, is way better because you don't have to search for having every single map juiced is way better than having 90% of your maps not juiced and then only getting like that 10% juice and getting way more drops.
Yeah, I just think that is honestly the perfect point on this whole discussion, because I feel like, and I know there's different play styles, so I'm not saying like my opinion is like the only one here, or it's super important that everyone needs to have my opinion. But just speaking from my perspective, I feel like we have moved from this like prep economy basically, where we have to prep 2 or 3 hours to get that half hour of maps where we can get the payoff, to just what I personally enjoy. I'm an Alch and go person. I want to slap the shit on the map and I want to go. I don't want to do, and I've said this on the podcast like multiple times, that was my biggest gripe with mapping system in POE 2, that I felt like, as someone who wants to be efficient in what he's doing on playing the game or on mapping, I felt like I needed to do the tower setups, and that was just like soul destroying for me to actually not play the game for 2 hours in order to be able to play the game efficiently for an hour. And the way it is now, and I'm just piggybacking on your stuff here, and I'm probably just repeating ourselves here or myself, but it's just like now it might be a little bit worse on a singular map. If you compare this map, the median map that you're doing right now, that one is going to be worse than the best map you were doing before. Yes. But on the median, I think the efficiency is higher now because you're actually getting more on every single map that you're doing, on every single map. And you can just go, okay, this map is going to have 3 breach tablets with monster density on breaches, with quantity, whatever, and let's go. I think it is so much better. When I had on my 9-hour stream today, we had actually instances of people today coming into the chat and being like, I want my towers back. And I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That is ridiculous. I get criticism. Like I get criticism. I know it seems a little bit like it seems weird right now or whatever. Please try to get used to it or whatever. But actually asking back for something that we complained about collectively as humanity for 7 months. That is ridiculous. That is yeah. I don't know. That is just ridiculous.
The craziest thing.
I get it. We need to adapt. I get it. It's a new system. It takes some time to get used to or whatever. But asking back for the old tower system, I think that that is ridiculous.
The craziest thing I heard was somebody was saying on Reddit, some guy was like, yeah, this takes away from exploration. I'm like, no way. Literally, that was the whole thing that Jonathan was like, oh, towers encourage exploration and like trying to find new things. And everybody pushed back on it. And now this dude's like, oh, they took away my exploration.
Oh, gosh.
No,
as someone,
I just think the median, it's just like it's an alk and go economy now. We can actually just you can come home even if you have half an hour to play, or if you have 2 hours to play, or if you have 12 hours to play. We're all kind of the same now because we just get there. We have 3 tablets. We have the map. Let's fucking go. And it's not like the beautiful mind mathematics 4 tower overlap kind of thing anymore, which is, in my opinion, it is just amazing. We might have some stuff to iron out right now, and it might seem that some maps seem kind of dead or barren or whatever. But the step has been taken in the right direction. I think it's honestly kind of ridiculous to not realize that we are moving in the right direction when it comes to that. And
yeah,
so
and
we'll see.
The other thing I was saying is like, okay, let's say that they actually brought in like the same level of quantity, right? Let's say you could juice the tablets to the same level of quantity as before with the triple tower setup, right? That would be so broken. The economy would collapse. Imagine the economy was already inflating like crazy with the fact that triple tower setups were so rare. Imagine if every single one of your maps that you ran was a triple tower quantity setup. That would blow the economy completely up in a single night, where every single person is running a triple tower setup on every single one of their maps. The amount of currency generated with that would completely destroy the entire economy.
I just need to quickly mention, I think it's super funny. People are at each other's throats in the chat right now about icons.
I don't have chat open.
Can we
can talk about the icons. We can talk about the icons.
Can we talk about rare icons now? Because I feel like
hold on. I still haven't even given my word in on I haven't said fucking shit yet. So as someone who's on the bum end of things, who doesn't ever do map juicing, the way you guys described it is like how I've always been playing the game. I just alk and go, and I'm just literally citadel hunting. I'm going from point A to point B to point C, and that is how I've always played. I feel like that is how a majority of the player base plays. It's just like with how the Atlas is set up, you just want to go in a direction. And I have never felt like I've ever been able to do that, because when you put the tower down, it just puts all the stuff around it. And it's perfect for the way I've always played it. I like the alk and go. That's the phrase I'll use from now on. That is how I've always done it. And that's like, it fits perfectly in it. I really like the idea of like, now, like you mentioned, like how you can put 3 breach tablets in, and just like, I want to only just do this match with as much breach. Like, we're finally starting to get a little bit more towards being able to specialize. If you only like breach, right, you can just super juice the breach, right? Like, these are the steps in that I want the game to be heading towards, which is like, again, more parallel with PoE 1 now, how you're specializing in these types of things. We need to get the Atlas passive tree a little bit more love there. But yeah, I don't know. This is like, from my perspective, it's only a win.
Yeah. And it's interesting, right? Because like I think I forget who it was. It might have been Rue again, but he was talking about how like we're actually finally getting back to a point where PoE is a brain and like not like being like analytical and like thought-based game where you actually have to like put some thought into the game about like, oh, how do I actually juice this, as opposed to just being like quantity slap in there, right? It's so easy to figure out quantity, just like, yeah, just increase the quantity, easy, right? But now you can actually be like, okay, how do I craft like a really, really good strategy that like fits, again, like you said, right? You can specialize in it. It's what you like doing. How do you fit it to your own way of playing, which like I think is really, really cool and really good for the game, in my opinion. And again, we now get to run juice on every map. Back in the day with towers, you weren't able to run juice on every map because sometimes the tower wouldn't get hit with breach. Sometimes the tower wouldn't get hit with ritual, right? Now you just get that on every single map, and that's absolutely amazing.
And you can just also vary from every single map. I can do like, this map is going to be this map is going to be this. It's kind of what we were talking about on the podcast before. It's like I said, whether you have half an hour to play every evening when you put your kids to bed or whatever, or you have 12 hours to play, it is just so much more enjoyable now to actually approach the way of doing the whole mapping thing, because the whole setup thing is gone. And someone who's not doing the setup, because I've had the thing like Kalturak said, for example, and I've had a lot of people in my chat who I fully understand, who said, I don't want to do all the tower setups, but at the same time, I kind of feel like I have to, because otherwise I am kind of falling behind, right? And that's always the thing. And that is just like alleviated now. That is just gone now, because now it is just this is the setup that you're doing. And I also think, like Miso again said very well, I think it is also just going to be, I think there's going to be a lot of different ways to actually approach the juicing for the maps now, because it is just so much more interchangeable as well now. Because before it was like, oh, I have this 4 tower setup, I should not fuck this up, kinda, so I should make sure that I have actually the best tablets here and the best ones. Now if you like fuck up on the juicing or test a little bit of juicing in a singular map, now you're like, oh yeah, this wasn't it, next map I can go back to the strategy again. When you fucked up a 4 tower quadruple tower setup or whatever, you're like,
wasted 3 hours. Yeah.
3 hours wasted or whatever. Now you can just like slap in 3 tablets, test out how quantity works, or test out how, oh yeah, I'm doing 2 breach tablets with monster density on breaches with like pack size, and then I do a ritual tablet with like omen chance or whatever, and I have this map juiced with chaotic quantity or whatever, and you can just, okay, let's test this out. I think it is just so much better, and I think it will just also have the fact that so many more people are actually going to try out stuff instead of just reading like, oh yeah, by the way, everyone's doing quantity. If you're not doing quantity, you're kind of breaking your own legs. So yeah, I think there's always going to be a strategy that most people deem to be the best one, but I think there's going to be so much more variety now, and variety is just good for the game overall, whether it's builds, whether it's build diversity, whether it's like farming type diversity, whether it's any type of diversity or any type of variance in the game. It's just good for the game. And if we then get even more end game content on top of that in the next league, we are fine dining at this stage. I don't know if that is an expression in your guys' language. I don't know. We are fine dining, because I feel like the end game has now already been a little bit widened because of that, because it's not like this brain dead, just like quality maps or like Sekima or whatever. But then if we then get the end game update in 0.4, it's looking very, very good, I think.
Yeah. This is the pre-update for the end game. That's what's crazy. This is the pre-update. One thing I like that you really said there though was there's a problem with with the old system where some maps were just really bad for breach. And now you can be like, oh, this map is good for Delirium, la la la, or whatever, and you put those sockets into it. Like you talked about how maps, like I'm gonna do Breach and now I want to do Delirium or whatever on this map. Like you now have choice for like if you know this is the best Breach map and it doesn't have all these corridors that are getting screwed over and stuff. Like that's where you prioritize Breach and stuff. Like it's just overall a much more fluid system. It's great. But yeah, we can talk about the rares. It's funny, GGG is like the one that I know is quoted for saying that like you can't give a player something and then take it away. They talk about it with the wells. They've talked about it with so many things that once they've got this, you can't take it away. They decided to do it with the most like offensive thing they could have taken away in terms of like that initial impression. Like the initial feel of not seeing rares on the map is like, oh God, where do I go? What do I do? It's just like, it's just so jarring initially. I'm curious, like, if how many internal discussions were had around, like, should we actually turn this off or not? But yeah, I mean, how have your guys' thoughts been on, like, I mean, you're like specifically juicing rare monsters. So I guess, Rabbit, how has your thoughts been on the change, I guess?
I think overall this was the last chance for them to turn it off. I think they want to have it off because it's the same in POE 1. I think they want to have it off. I think they saw this as this is going to be our last chance, and we're going to have to take the hit here. And it is definitely one of the biggest hits that is going to be in the negative here for most people for this patch. I'm just speaking again. I will for sure make some people mad now in the comments, and I will for sure make some people mad in the comments down here. I'm just speaking from my own opinion here. I love it. I think the whole thing about having rare icons on the map, at least for me, just to reiterate again, for me, it changed the game for me because I was basically just hunting icons at this point. I felt like sometimes, depending on the build or whatever, I know also, yes, I'm playing builds that are very high investment, and most of the time they are kind of brain dead builds. I accept that. They are. I know it is way different when you have a build that requires that you actually pay attention to what you're doing and you actually need to do your combos or whatever, you parry or whatever you're doing. I don't know. I am speaking from my own perspective. For me, it turned into a game where when I was on the map, I was just hunting for the icons. And most of the time, I've been playing since I played Diablo 2, actually, I always had the minimap function of having the minimap like over your screen in like the transparency way, because that was the way it was in Diablo 2, and that is how I played Diablo 2 for so many years. So for me, with the icons, it was always in a way where I was just going to the next icon, to the next icon, to the next icon. And I realized today, when the icons were gone, I was not using the minimap anymore as much. I was not using the minimap, and I was actually just playing the map, and I was just going on the map where I saw the way on the map, and I was going to the next ritual, and when the boss icon appeared, I went to the boss, and then I looked on the map a little bit, oh, is there still an area? I don't really care if I miss like 1 or 2 rares. I don't think that's a big deal. I don't think that's a big deal. I think if you get used to the maps, and if you know all the maps at some point a little bit more, you will know where you have to go a little bit and where you have to clear. I don't think it's a catastrophe if you miss like 1 or 2 rares every maps. For me, it made the game today much more enjoyable, I have to say, because it didn't again turn into just basically, I feel like I'm just going for icons, and I'm just going for like we go this way to this one, and then we go to this way to this one, and I'm just now I do feel like I'm actually doing a map. I realize how it's for people. People absolutely hate change. People absolutely hate change, me included. I don't do well with change overall with stuff, but I feel like this is one where I think most people will not miss it in a few weeks. I get that it's a big point of contention now, and I feel like a lot of people are like very, very passionate about this right now, and I understand it. And just again, speaking from my thing, I don't think that's a big deal. I will already say, and I'm willing to bet on this again, I don't think it's coming back. I think
no.
I don't think it's coming back. I think you can scream and yell and bicker all you want. I don't think it's coming back. This is how it will be, I think. I might be wrong, but yeah, I think it made, for me, I just realized this today because my first initial reaction was also, oh fuck, they have taken some quality of life away from us. But I slowly realized today that it actually made mapping more enjoyable for me because of the aspects that I've just listed of not just hunting for icons basically, and just playing the map and forget about the 2 rares that you miss sometimes. In the end. That was end of my sentence.
all right, sorry. I thought you guys a little more, but yeah, like so first off, right, they're definitely not adding it back. I remember when the first time when they were talking about adding it, I think it was after the 0.2 people were blowing up and people were pissed off, and it was after the Ziz interview, right? I think that's when they added it. Jonathan was very hesitant about adding it. He did not want to add it. But I think everybody was so pissed off at the time. He was just like, all right, guys, we're giving you everything you guys want. It's fine. We're just going to do it. And they added it, right? And that was because of the old legacy system of that we had to kill all the rares. And it felt so bad that all of a sudden, after you killed 90% of the rares, you'd have a rare stuck at the beginning, right? And that felt really bad. So in order to avoid that, they made it so that, hey, they're now putting the icons on the map now. But since rares are no longer an objective, there's not really a reason for them to have it on there anymore. Like, there's zero reason why you would need to go back for the rare, unless you really care about that super, like, oh, I need every single rare on this map because I could be losing loot, right? But the way that I look at it, and again, right, the way that you were talking about with the minimap, putting it on and just like watching the minimap chasing icons, it's funny because I've actually never played it that way. I actually, before they added the rare icons, I said that exact thing where it's like, you're not going to care about anything else. You're just going to keep the minimap on and you're going to go for those icons and not care about anything else. And what happened? Exactly that. So I was actually against putting rares on the game at the beginning, because I hate that type of gameplay where I just leave the map on, the overlay on, and I'm just like not even paying attention to the map itself. I'm literally just looking at the overlay the entire time. So for my streams, it's something, if you go back on the VODs, you'll notice I never play that way. I never have the minimap, like the overlay open. I'll just like click it open for like a second. I'm like, oh, okay, there's a rare over there. I need to go there. And then I'll turn it back off. Like, that is how I prefer to play the game. It's way more immersive. It's way more fun. And like, again, now it gives players choice, right? It gives players choice like, hey, I'm done with this map. I killed all the boss. I can go back if I want to. But honestly, most of the time, it's like, you know what? There will be more rares in the next map. Like, it's not like the rares are limited. Like, you go to the next map, you get a fresh set of rares. Oh, big whoop, you missed like, a rare or two at the end after you clear the map. Like, it's way more fun. It's way more enjoyable. And oh my God, I can already see the comments like, oh my God, this podcast, there's no discourse, no disagreement. What is going on? This is terrible, right? I already see those comments coming in, but it's true. I think that the changes were just overall like really positive for the game direction and makes the game just feel a lot better to play. It in general just encourages a lot more, player freedom, in my opinion. And you know what, guys? 5-head play, all right? This is why GGG added wisps. You just follow the wisp and it'll lead you to the rare. Just follow the wisp.
I'm too fast for wisp now. I got over 100% move speed. They're too slow.
Well, wisp move, if you're running, they actually follow you pretty well. But you have to like, it's somewhat. They kind of break off sometimes. But guys, this is Jonathan's ultimate plan. Guys, you don't understand. We actually still have the rare icons. It's just that you got to follow these wisps and they'll lead you to the rares. And then when the wisps disappear, you're done with all the rares. Genius, right?
Wisp juice maps.
Also, you just don't know if you miss rares now. How could you?
Yeah.
You don't know. It's just like Schrodinger's rare every single time. It's like,
did
I miss a rare? I don't know. Is the cat dead in the box? No, we don't know. It's like Schrodinger's rares every time, So I'm fine with that. There's a German saying. And it's called was nicht weiß, macht ihn nicht heiß. And it basically means what he doesn't know, he doesn't care.
I think it's a good change. I think it's a good change. Like, it just, I mean, like in some of my maps, I immediately found that I was just like exploring them, I guess is the word to use. Like you're just going through them. And then for me, like I said, I like Citadel hunting. So like we're about to talk about this next change, but the fact that bosses are in every map now, and you win the map by finishing the boss, which is just like PoE 1, which is I feel like the complaint that everyone has universally agreed on, that like PoE 2 has the best bosses. Why aren't they in every map, right? And we finally got that change. So for me, like after the first few maps of like full clearing them, I was like, oh okay, I just want a Citadel hunt. Let me just blitz to the boss in every map and just kill the boss. I don't give a shit about the rares. I'm juicing boss waste. I'm juicing bosses so they hopefully drop more, and then I'm just going for the Citadel. So like to me, it's like yes, it was very jarring initially, but I don't think I'm gonna miss it tomorrow.
No.
I don't know. Sorry, guys.
It's just much.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. No, I'm actually just thinking because I'm like thinking about like my day today and what I'm thinking in terms of what it like was in terms of experience today. I just think it was a win for just like player agency, and I feel like there's just more player agency. It's just as simple as you're not like boxed into a specific thing. If you, like Kalturek said, if you just want to blitz to every boss and just make the map as fast as possible, you can do that. If you want to clear every single rare and full clear every single map, you can do that. If you want to do only breaches, you can do that. If you want to do only rituals, you can do that. If you want to hunt as merry wisps on every single map, you can do that. It's just like, it is much more freedom right now, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What are you guys' thoughts on the bosses in every map, Rat or Miso? Have you messed much with like bossing stuff? I mean, obviously you've killed the bosses, but
Yeah. Well, so for the most part, I was testing wisps last night. I was testing wisps last night because I wanted to see whether or not the wisp really affected like the overpowered bosses or whatever. Because like if you juice a bot, like I have a ton of wisp tablets. The unique tablets, right? So I was like, you know what? Let's just throw these on and see how it feels, right? Spoiler, it didn't feel great. But
they're tanky and stuff.
They are really, the bosses are really tanky. So first off, right? I think it's cool that the boss is on every map because obviously, again, the objective stuff being different. Now you don't have to kill all the rares. Absolute W, right? But the second thing is that I think that with all of the maps having bosses, it also leads to a more, I don't know, it leads to a little bit more interesting gameplay where at the end of the day, you have both, like, because like you said, Path of Exile 2 is about the bosses. Now, technically, at the end of the day, we're still kind of blowing up the bosses in one hit for the most part, but having bosses at the end of the map just allows you to have a little more of that PoE 2 style of gameplay. But when it comes to the bosses and their like how strong they are, I do notice like the bosses are quite a bit tankier now. I don't know, not the regular ones, but the overseer ones are
the
definitely
powerful ones.
Yeah, the powerful ones are definitely way tankier. And I've had people say like they're dying, like they are going up these bosses and they are getting destroyed, which honestly is not a bad thing because we were talking about how like the game, it felt like there wasn't really as much of a ceiling. And like there's not really that like chase content, but like if you're juicing high deli and then you're fighting one of these powerful bosses,
it's hard.
Yeah, it's hard. They do a lot of damage,
cool, yeah.
and they're really tanky.
If it's like a player choice, I think it's very, very important because I've heard a lot of people today also say, and I've experienced like one or two instances today where I died and I didn't really know what was happening. I think if it's something telegraphed, I think that's a very good thing. If it's something where it's like, oh, I just got randomly one shot on a map that I didn't even like do anything to the boss or whatever, I think that's bad. Obviously, that's always going to be bad. But like you said as well, if you now want to go for like Overseer with Asmeri Spirit and you want to get like a 30 million HP map boss or whatever, you can do that now, I think. And if the rewards are going to be worth, I don't know. But it's just another play agency thing again. If you want to do that, then you can now. And you can juice up map bosses like crazy now, especially like deadly map bosses and stuff. And that's just another play agency thing that is very, very nice.
I thought I juiced. I went into a powerful Viper Nutpwatsi, and the map was like just giga juiced, and it had increased attack speed on mobs, and she just. It was like within 2 seconds, she threw 3 flurries of skills at me, and I was instant dead. Like the new powerful juiced bosses are. If you're someone who's playing this game for bossing content and you want challenging bosses, I'm sure there's a way to like. I don't know if it's going to be efficient currency per hour, but you can get bosses really tanky. Now, obviously, if you've got like a Dead Rabbit 6 million Spark DPS build, you're probably still going to be fine on most bosses. But I think like for people who are like near the bottom of the top, like I don't know. I was getting like much more longer fights. And last patch, I was like, when I got my Witch Hunter was like 5 to 10 second fights tops, and now it's like I was getting plenty to 30 to 45 second boss fights on map. So you can't get them very thick if it's the powerful map boss modifier. I don't know what the change is there, like if it's just a specific percent scaling or what they did with them, but they definitely do feel harder.
Yeah, and again, if you want to run on every map, just put an Overseer tablet on every one of your maps. You'll get a powerful boss every. You don't have to wait for the icon to appear on the map. You just run at that.
Cool.
Yeah, because the Overseer map automatically makes the maps
them all powerful. Gotcha.
Because the every single map has a boss on it. So if you put an Overseer on it, then it makes
always
it
juice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
could also be an interesting. I need to write that down. That is also an interesting. Boss rushing again. I need to write that down right now.
Yeah.
Boss rushing is fast on like when I was mapping on my Witch Hunter with like the fast move speed. You're getting to bosses in 2.5 minutes tops. Like it's like we're zooming between the bosses. Like and with the special, we haven't talked about it, but the reduced map size changes. To me, all of those like the maps that they've changed, they felt way more linear. Like they took out like a lot of the circular paths of it because they would just do a big loop most of the time, and now it's just like they took out half of it, and it's just more of a snake through.
Not
and
Hidden Grotto. Not Hidden Grotto.
Not Hidden Grotto. Rip. I haven't done Hidden Grotto.
I don't get the Hidden Grotto hate, to be honest. I think a lot of the Hidden Grotto hate was because Hidden Grotto was so prevalent in that patch. I did like 2 or 3 Hidden Grottos today. I don't hate that map that much, I have to say.
I'll have PTSD forever from it. I'll never get over that.
I take Hidden Grotto over Sun Temple any day of the week.
Oh yeah.
Sun Temple sucks.
Sun Temple sucks. But you're comparing like all the ugly babies now together.
Yeah.
This is the least ugly baby. It's all right.
You also play Spark, and Spark on Hidden Grotto is awesome looking. It's just like the coolest map for Spark with all the walls and stuff.
Yes, does all the work for you.
It's so cool. I think I was watching your stream earlier today when I woke up and you were in Hidden Grotto on the Spark. I was like, oh god, this is so cool. Have you messed with them? Have you seen what are your thoughts on the map size changes, Rabbit? Have you noticed them much?
I don't know which specifically it was. I think Augury today I noticed was definitely much smaller. Augury is another one where I didn't have a huge problem with the map. I didn't think the map was as bad as a lot of other people apparently thought how bad the map was. I didn't notice too many others. I think mostly for maps, my biggest gripe is with some of the new ones, I guess, because I think some of the old ones that already got changed, most of the time, those are pretty fine. I think, for example, the old Valve Factory, which is now the Assembly, I think, that map is just layout-wise. I'm just talking about layout, not necessarily the mobs, but just in the layout. That map is awesome now. It is so nice because it's basically just a huge room with some pillars in the middle and then some areas on the side which are sometimes a little bit tricky to get up to and stuff, and like corridors or whatever, but mostly it's just a huge room in the middle. And this is kind of the map that most people I think like the most, like the step maps, the willow maps, all the stuff that is just open, or the very linear maps like Slick or like Crypt or Epipath, the new one that I really like. Those are also just my favorite maps. The least favorite maps of mine are the corridor maps, like the very, very small ones, like Mire, like I think the worst offender, to be honest, and I don't know how that made it in, is I think it's called Sinkhole, the new one, the map that was in Act 4 when we got to the purple monkey boss. It's just like tiny corridors. I think that one is kind of bad. It is pretty linear and you don't really lose your way, which is nice at least, but it's like in a game where it's about like just having massive amount of monsters and stuff, I think it just leans itself, or it is always to be it is always the best to have it in an open space, to not be like this claustrophobic. Like trenches is bad, for example, like all the stuff where it's like corridors. So
oh yeah, trenches is the worst. I hate trenches.
Yeah, so it's like I think some of the new ones I don't really like. I can't name them all from the top of my head. I think most of the stuff that is getting changed eventually, most of the time that is good changes. Like Assembly, for example, got changed. It's a good change. Like Augury now, the maps that are smaller now a little bit are all like I don't have any problems with that. Most of the time, in my experience, is they put in a new one that didn't get all the scrutiny from the community yet, and then eventually it will be adjusted at some point.
Yeah.
Thoughts, Miso?
Yeah, like I said earlier, I spent most of my stream last night just trying to test these maps, and I came out with kind of a nice little Excel spreadsheet of what I thought was good. Like, and these are not like how good the maps are. It's just about like whether or not the change was good or bad. So I would say that the majority of the changes was a big positive, right? I think one, taking some of these really big maps and making it smaller, but also the biggest thing, like what Rabbit said earlier, was just like making it, or was it, I don't remember which one of you guys said it, but just making it more linear. That is the biggest thing, right? Some of these were just like snaking and branching in like weird paths. Like, for example, Slick was one where there was like so many different, like, oh, you'd go off this way and you hit a dead end and you have to backtrack and like go this way. Now Slick is for the most part, you just kind of go down one direction and then you hit the boss and then you're good. Another one with that was like Savannah. Like Savannah was a really, really good map in my opinion. Like I did like Savannah, but the problem with Savannah was you'd always start at the middle of the map and you have to go left and then you go right. Now it's just like a straight path, right? That's like really, really good. Same with Vol City, right? Another map that was just like a lot of branching paths going out. And that map is now way more linear and way better to do. And I just like that so much more. So that's like, I'd say the biggest positives about all these changes is that not only did it reduce some of the size for the maps with like Blooming Field, but like the linearity of these maps is way better. Now, when it comes to no change for me, this is not necessarily saying the map is good or bad. It's just like I didn't really feel a change. They didn't really make a difference for me. Epitaph, Hidden Grotto, like I said, is still just a big circle. And then the boss is like somewhere like in the middle, just like absolutely deep in the middle. And you have to find that one little path that opens up to go to the boss. I thought that there wasn't much change there. And Channel was another one with a ton of like hallways, doors, corridors, whatever, that just felt really bad. And then the one that I'm pretty sure all of us will probably agree on is that Fortress, I didn't think needed a change. I think Fortress was always
Fortress was my favorite map. It was my favorite map.
Yes, it was so big. Oh, it was so juicy every single time.
And the fact that they made it smaller meant like, density is a little bit worse, but also it used to be a pretty good breach map because of how open it was. Now it's kind of like, it's still fine, but like
it's so
makes
tiny now.
Yeah, it makes it a worse breach map. So like in general, like I don't know why they fixed it, or fixed it. I don't know why they changed it. It just made it worse in my opinion.
That sucks. I haven't done a Fortress yet. Fortress has always been my if I wanted to show off a cool build, find a Fortress that has the cleansed area, because you're gonna get as dense and as cool as a showcase as you can get. And yeah, that sucks that it's that bad. I haven't done it yet. There's
some maps like that. When you showcase the build, it's gonna be Fortress, it's gonna be Sandspit, it's gonna be like Slick, Ravine, whatever. It's just they are the favorite maps, and I feel like the bad maps are getting less and less as we move further, which is in my opinion a very, very normal progress in a game like this that is still like in the baby stages. We're just moving in a certain direction, which in my opinion is mostly positive. But yeah, I just realized I did like 2 fortresses today. I think I didn't even realize that it's so tiny now. No, that map was perfect. That was literally perfect.
I liked it. Yeah. We talked about it earlier in the podcast, but I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are initially on the alch changes. How the only alchs I think I've been doing is alching maps, which I guess is the biggest thing I'll be alching forever from now on. I mean, just seems like a huge win, right?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that alks. I thought that when you alk a magic item, that it just adds on top. I realized today that it just it basically scouring orbs the item before then alking it. That was kind of weird to me because it will definitely hinder some of the capabilities of it because sometimes you want to keep exactly those modifiers, and now the Alch Orb is not going to be used for those items anymore because they're going to be gone, and it's just it is definitely very, very good, but it was kind of something that I didn't think about that this would happen, because right now it basically scouring orbs and then turns it into a rare item, which is
You
kind
weren't
of
expecting
surprising
it to
me, I guess.
re-roll the map.
Yeah, but I would also think at that point it's basically just a regal. So yeah.
Exactly. It's just a better regal at the end of the day. It's like it's just like a regal and like two what is it called? 2 or 3 exalted orbs, which would kind of be really OP.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize it either at the beginning when they mentioned it, and then when we got into the game, I was like, "Oh, this is how they did it," and then I was like, "Oh yeah, it makes sense, right? It just makes sense for them to do it that way. It would be a little bit too powerful in terms of like the currency hierarchy if you made it change like that. But at the same time, I actually don't mind it because there was times when a map modifier rolls in there, and I'm like, I don't want to do this. And then I'm just like, all right, I'm just throwing Alcon here and change it up. Like, that's kind of a nice thing that I can do now, that when it rolls magic, it's like, oh god, ailment threshold, that sucks for my build. I'm just gonna throw the Alcon there and then boom, it's gone. So it's a nice little quality of life, and definitely it was like interesting because it was like exactly as you said. I was like, oh wow, this is just like a scouring orb and then you alk it, which it's kind of interesting and like something that I never thought, because scouring orbs don't exist in Path of Exile 2. So it's like, oh wow, okay, this is technically like they're kind of like adding a pseudo scouring orb into this game.
Yeah, that's definitely a different application than I guess most people were anticipating. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's gonna have a lot. I'm excited to see the out change on league starts at least, because you'll be able to have like actually that won't be really great for low level bases, because like if it does re-roll it and you had like +2 melee skills on a mace, you wouldn't want to alk it because you were going to risk re-rolling that +2 melee skill. So in that aspect, it's not a win. So yeah, it's interesting change for sure.
Probably has like a little bit of a better use case now, but I think in the grand scheme of things, it will not like be felt too hard. I was like super I was laughing when the change was announced, when the video dropped where they did the change. Like, people in my chat and also in my community, like, oh my god, invest in Alchemy Orbs. And like for a day or two, Alchemy Orbs went to like 6x or something, or like 20 even. And I was like sitting in my stream and I was like, this guys, what are you doing?
Wait, there's 20x for one Alch Orb?
Yes, it was like for a few hours. It was completely crazy because people were literally panic buying.
I caught it at 1-to-1, and I was like, "Wow, this is crazy."
It was like during COVID times, people like panic buying toilet paper or something. It was like, what are you guys thinking? Why would they like Alchemy Orbs? If you put Alchemy Orbs into your filter and you do like 10 T50 maps, you're dropping like 40,000 Alchemy Orbs. What do you guys think the value of this will be? And then it just crashed down again. And I think as of recording right now, it's like I'm pretty sure it's back to normal. So yeah, that was a very, very funny side effect to me, and it is always something that is very, very easy to see. Now you get, for one exalted, you get 9 alchemies. So we're back to normal again.
We're back to normal again. It's armor scraps all over again.
Oh right, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah,
old armor scrap conversion.
Again, it goes back to the thing where we were saying earlier that a lot of people just don't think. I don't know. I don't want to be mean, but it's just like, come on, guys. You gotta realize that these things drop like candy. Like, they're so common. There's no way the prices of these just got skyrocket like that. It's not gonna happen.
It's a very human thing. I always, when we are somewhere, like I have a big aversion into going like standing in lines for anything. Like, there could be a line for somewhere, like anywhere. There could be a line, and like there's 20 people in line, and at the end of the line you get like the holy grail. You drink water out of it and you're immortal forever, the best looking guy of all time.
You already are that.
Oh yeah, of course. I would not get in that line. I hate the whole herd effect that happens, and I think it's a very, very human thing when there's like there could be like 17 food trucks or whatever, and there's one food truck where there's like 6 people in front, and people are like, that is the food truck most people are gonna go because I like, oh wait, other people are there's other people there. It must be good then. And that kind of happens here too. It's like it's like the herd effect. It's like, wait, people are buying alchemy orbs? I must buy alchemy orbs. Get me all the alchemy orbs. And it's always just gonna happen. It's always just gonna happen. I see someone in chat saying, yeah, I made like 6 domain with alchemy orb flipping on that. That is so funny to me. I think
that's crazy.
That is amazing. I think it's so funny.
I should have
bunch of little other minor changes and stuff. I want to talk about the balance stuff. We talked about it pre-podcast a little bit, but I've had horrible, it's not balance stuff, excuse me, performance issues. I've had horrible performance issues this patch specifically. PC shutting off during like big explosions, the game straight up crashing, and worst of all, like 30 to 45 second load screens, like consistently, just really bad performance issues. And they've been completely resolved with this patch. Like instant load screens, like obviously I've only been playing it for like the last 24 hours or whatever, but initial thoughts on the performance patch change was just night and day difference for me. I know you guys said you weren't really having problems.
What CPU and GPU do you have? Because that might be a factor, right?
I mean, yeah, I've got a middle of the road PC. I'm NVIDIA and stuff and there's a lot of NVIDIA reflex problems with this patch or something that was going on. But whatever they pushed today for me, at least, was very noticeable. And then we have the Citadel spawn rate, the Atlas passive tree changes, and the nerf to ground effects. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that. I was Citadel hunting, and I was seeing them pop up like, Christmas lights. So that was definitely noticeable for me. The ground effect change, I didn't really notice the difference personally. It still was annoying. It was still as annoying as before. I don't know if you guys had the same thought.
I don't get shield ground because I'm juicing every single map either with chaotic monsters or chaotic rarity. The only ground effect I'm getting is ignited ground, which is kind of okay now. I would say of all the ground effects, especially like comparing to chill ground, it's kind of chill.
Kind of chill.
But, yeah, but so that was kind of fine. On the performance, I have to say I'm a little bit in a different camp when it comes to that because I didn't really have any problems before. I like no crashes or whatever. I never really had any bad crashes or whatever. Performance for me is still like on the not in terms of crashes, but in terms of like FPS and whatever. When you are on a Delirium instilled map with Breach and with Abyss, God help me if it's overrun. The performance is still pretty bad, and I have a 9800 X3D with a 9070 XT, so double AMD and stuff, and I'm using Vulkan, and it has honestly, I think it has gotten a little bit worse today. I think on these Mega Juice maps and on these Abyss maps with Delirium and Breach and whatever. For me, it was pretty bad today. I had to say, like there was. I mentioned multiple times today that there was like 10 FPS gaming times today. So that is just my camp. I think optimization is still something where I am saying that is something that is on my wish list on the very, very top. That optimization, and I'm sure that is very, very. It is going to be a big point of them addressing that in the future, but that is still something that I want the most in the game. That optimization is actually going to be on point at some point, that you can actually do the juice content that we all want to do because it's the most satisfying content. But if the most satisfying content that we juice for and that we actually try to do is going to lead to us having like performance issues, and I'm not talking about ED this time, then it's bad. I meant ED Contagion. That
yeah, we did. Miso, any thoughts on all of this?
First off, shout out to DM in the chat. What a homie.
ADM.
But he said 80 FPS with 5090 on 9950 X3D. I am also on that side of things with I also have a 5090, not with a 9950X, and with that, I was getting some crashes before the patch, but ever since the patch, I didn't crash at all. But of course, it's only one night of playing, so we'll see. But in terms of performance, I never really had that big of an issue with performance because of the specs on my PC. And that pretty much stayed the same for me. I did notice the loading screens were faster though. I was having issues with the loading screens being
way
really
better
long,
for me.
and I did not have any like 30-second loading screens anymore, which sometimes did happen, especially when it was like your first time loading into your hideout or something like that. That would happen, but that didn't happen anymore. So overall, W for performance stuff. And yeah. What else were we talking about here?
Chilled ground.
Chilled ground. I actually had a thing where I was running one of the maps. It might have been an epitaph map as well. But there was like a part where we were indoors and I was looking at the ground and there was like one little speck with no chilled ground. I was like, are we really?
Chilled ground didn't feel different to me.
It didn't feel different. But the thing is, luckily, I run a ritualist, so infinite charm charges. So I just run silver charm and it's fine. But yeah, I did notice that there was not really much of a difference there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad because that's what I felt was like. I didn't play with the other grounds too much, but chilled ground, I was like, oh, this is just as annoying as before. I don't notice the difference, especially in the maps that have like all the corridors and stuff. Like you're just gonna have it always on you. So,
if not, run a chilled ground map in like 3 weeks now, I think. If that doesn't even exist in my world.
Maybe we just gotta get all of the use the chaotic rarity and chaotic whatever on our maps now. Just get rid of it all.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it's very good.
Okay, well, I think that's it for our notes. Let's go into build of the week. We have two we're showing off today. I saw him in the chat earlier. We'll go into mine first. I'm showing off a Abyssal Lich Bonestorm Bone Cage build from the homie Kadachi. I love Bonestorm. Bonestorm was one of my favorite skills from 0.1. I was always hoping that Bonestorm would be usable on Aroa. We never got that dream though, but yeah, he's just gotten to like Kadachi is just really good at pushing damage to absolute the blast, and it's just a really fun Bonestorm build where he's using Trample Toe to help with mapping. I haven't really seen people push Bonestorm lately. It's a really cool skill if you've never played Bonestorm. It hits super hard. You have a bunch of projectiles that are just... It's like 20-something plus projectiles from the skill when it's at its max level. And when you build into it with like enough damage and crit, like it just slaps. When all of the bullets hit like right here, like it just freaking chunks bosses. It's one of the more fun bossing skills. And yeah, I don't know. People don't play Bonestorm enough anymore. I don't know if you guys have played Bonestorm, but in 0.1 I played it with what is the Snake Pit Pearl Ring, where it just makes it fly everywhere. And yeah, I don't know. I like Bonestorm, and I think it's an underappreciated skill in terms of bossing.
Yeah, I played Bonestorm like a little bit just for like leveling to see how it went, but a little bit too slow for me.
Yeah, you have to get used to the charge up time. It's if you don't like that, you won't like the build. But
but yeah, it definitely seems like it's doing a good bit of damage.
Yeah, and then for mapping, he's using Trample Toe, which if you've seen Trample Toe builds, you hit hard enough, everything dies. So
I mean,
yeah.
It's interesting because like I feel like Trample Toe is not talked about enough. Like, have we? Why are they nerfing heralds? Why are they nerfing all these?
Trample Toe is crazy.
Yeah, why are they nerfing these things when Trample Toe still exists? Like literally, you slap Trample Toe on something, it's just instant full screen clear. Like,
I have the answer for you.
Yes.
Move speed?
15% movement speed.
That's the only downside of Trample Toe.
Trample Toe could cure world hunger. I would use it.
Trample Toe is really good.
It's really good. It is very strong and literally gives any build that doesn't have clear instant clear. It's insanely strong. Again, the only reason why it's not being used more is because of movement speed, and I mean, you could technically get Trample Toe relatively high now, right? You know, you could drop.
Can you go further in the video and show some of the map footage?
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
want people
yeah.
to see
Sure.
what the Trample Toe looks like.
Yeah, sure. Let's
I
see.
think he shows it in it. Maybe it's at the end. Maybe it's right there. Right here, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like better, but it's definitely no Essence of Horror, you know, 35% movement speed plus movement speed runes.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
We're
it's
talking about 100% move speed builds. They're not clearing like that. But group play, just dominating it with the I think it's the wand
Bone
skill. I
Cage?
forget what bone cage.
Yeah.
And with Trample Toe, it pops everything. And I don't know, people like I love showcasing Lich builds. Liches are just so cool of an Ascendancy. Like it is the style Ascendancy. I don't know. When I look at Liches, they're just fun. So and yeah, Bonestorm, Bone Cage
Best
alternative.
Lich is the best Ascendancy in the game, objectively.
All right.
Okay.
Shout out to Kadachi, shout out to Bonestorm and Liches.
You know, Rabbit loves two things in life. He loves Diablo 2 and he loves Liches.
Yeah.
And sitting in his hideout.
Huh?
I see you in your hideout so much.
That's the only way to make currency.
Yeah.
Excuse me. 3 Spike. See? Yeah, Mr. Peach in chat knows. Spike is the third one. And that's probably number 1. I love Spike.
More than Diablo 2, huh?
No.
Okay. You got your build, Miso?
Yeah, I do. So this is not really like, I mean, it is a build, but it's more of a concept that is what it is. And this is a really, really cool thing. So it's a lightning arrow build.
You said cool thing, though.
No, okay, so it is a lightning arrow build. It is a lightning arrow, lightning rods build, but be prepared to be impressed. Mirage Archer. So he snapshots Quill Rain on the Mirage Archer and uses his main character for lightning rods. So he gets all the damage of the lightning rods from his main character because his main character has the damaging bow. But then the Mirage Archer is snapshotted to the Quill Rain, so it has super high attack speed. So it's just constantly proccing the lightning rods and doing just full damage. Like, look at that. It's just... the attack speed on the Mirage Archer is absolutely insane and also destroys FPS. If, you know, right here, you can see his computer starts dying. But it's so cool. It is so cool.
So cool.
You would never think, like, again, when you say lightning arrow, it's like, oh my god, that's so lame. But then you look at this, it's like, wait a second, this guy's cooking. This guy's cooking with a Mirage Archer, absolutely destroying bosses with a Mirage Archer and using it to completely rip apart bosses with just like a super high attack speed. Is
this like a multi-mirror build, or is this just like a few weird interactions? Like, is this like a mirror setup?
A few weird interactions. Of course, you know, you want to be able to scale your lightning rod with your main character, but I don't think it takes that much to scale your lightning rod to do that much damage. It's mostly just Quill Rain carrying the attack speed, and the lightning rods just being procced so fast that it just does a lot of damage. Like, the thing is, the damage itself like isn't even like that crazy, which I think you could probably make it like even crazier if you're funding was better, which because I think like even without the super fast attack speed, lightning rod can melt bosses like that.
What Ascendancy is he?
He is. I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm not sure what Ascendancy he is. But he's only on a 4-link on his Mirage Archer too. If you look at that, like,
yeah, that's what
you could definitely like. It doesn't look like he's scaled super high on his character. So you could definitely push it.
Well, hold on, where it says level 81, more life of Miri's bosses are also fine. Jesus.
Yeah, so it's super cool. It's not really like...
yeah, look at those modifiers on that map. Wow, that was a juice map.
Yeah, I mean, he does have a triple socketed weapon. I don't know what the stats on them are, but if you look at his other gear, right? A single socket boot, double socket glove. Like, he's not... he doesn't look like he's... yeah, it doesn't look like he's scaled. Like I don't know what affixes he has on his stuff, but it doesn't look like he's super juiced. So yeah, I just think it's super cool.
That is awesome. These are the kind of like reasons why we started the podcast, is to talk about cool shit like that, like just game breaking interactions. That attack speed was nuts. And like you said, it was only a 4 link. He didn't have a 5 link in there. I guess there's just nothing. I've never played Mirage Archer. I don't know what support gems you can put into it or how you scale it. Seeing it only a 4 link is surprising, because so much power comes from support gems right now. So
before the patch, I saw a lot of people, when just the patch was announced and we just got the new stuff, I saw a lot of people being like excited about Mirage Archer, and a lot of people said that it's gonna be broken or whatever, just by the nature of what it kind of does. And then it kind of faded into obscurity, and no one is talking about Mirage Archer anymore. And this is actually the first time I have actually seen someone use it, and I think just seeing that already shows, and it does seem like that it's not something that is like completely min-maxed on the multi-mirror level, whatever, and it's just looking good like that. There is probably some stuff that is undiscovered.
Goofball ass shit. Yeah, no, there's gonna be some goofy shit coming from that.
That's definitely something. Yeah, that is definitely something I will be looking into as well. The Korean builds are always worth looking into. I still remember the days where I was just looking at Astis build and just going by the support gems and looking how the support gems look, because everything is in Korean and I don't speak Korean. And I was just looking how the support gem looks, and I look into my support gem stuff and I'm like looking, oh wait, this support gem is execute. Okay, this is execute. It took me like 6 hours to go through all the build, and I just wrote everything down what he was doing, and it's so cool.
Well, Asta, he's been doing some cool stuff. Well, it's cool as in like he's always doing cool stuff. But first of all, his streams
now.
Yeah, his streams now have a live English translation type of situation. I mean, it's not perfect, right? But it has a, on the bottom right, it'll have captions and subtitles for his stream, so that if you're an English speaker, you could at least somewhat understand what he's saying. But also for his Primal Strikes video, he actually made an English guide. Again, it's not perfect, right? It's just it's translated, but it looks like he is putting a little more focus on like, hey, there's a big English speaking community who is looking at my guides and be like, maybe it's an area where I could expand a little bit and actually support some of the English speakers to help them out and make some cool stuff. But yeah, the Primal Strikes guide is pretty cool.
Do you know how that? I'm just curious. How is he mapping with the Mirage Archer?
I think it's just lightning arrow.
It's lightning arrow on a roar.
Yeah, it's just lightning arrow on a roar.
100%.
Which is why I was like, build wise, it's nothing impressive, but the concept is real big.
Well, yeah, the Mirage Archer, like that's what we play the game for. If you have to do an easy mapping setup to pull off a bossing setup like that, then you do that, right? Like you're not making it the build more lame that way. I think that is one of the cooler the things we've seen. Like that is awesome looking. Obviously, it's gonna the potential there is really cool. So I'm curious for I bet you're looking like you might be trying something with it eventually. I'm curious what new stuff we find with that, because that is a really cool mechanic. I don't even know how Mirage Archer works, so I don't play bow builds. I'm gonna have to look into it and see what like weird shit can be done from it. But if it's only lightning arrow, probably not.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to slot the lightning arrow into the Mirage Archer. You're going to be running lightning rods on your main character for that specific interaction, but like your main attacking skill doesn't.
You don't think there's a similar like interaction with a different skill with like a similar attack speed? Like obviously
growth, but like toxic growth does damage, so you'd want to shoot the toxic growth yourself. So it's like basically like an interaction where your main character is doing something that is doing the main damage, whereas your Mirage Archer is taking advantage of like a super high attack speed setup to proc whatever that main thing is. I'm sure there's
all lightning rod.
Yeah, it's all lightning rod that's doing the damage for the single target. So I'm sure there's probably something out there. I haven't really looked really into it, but that's at least the one that comes off as the most obvious.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a really cool interaction. What was his name? I don't know if you know his name.
Unfortunately, it's in Korean, so I don't know his name. So, I mean, I could really try to pronounce it and butcher it. Joksam or something like that. I think his name is. But I'll leave his the the channel link and the video link in the description for any VOD watchers.
Chonsam is what chat said. Yeah. Cool. Well, I mean, I love that shit. That's the coolest stuff. Is like, we talked about at the beginning of the podcast how a Reddit post for the Ignite prolification sent me, you, Jungron, and however many other people on this journey of chasing this Ignite stuff. These are the techniques that get discovered that push more build makers to try new stuff, which is what we play this game for. So, yeah. That is a perfect example of something that I love that we want to show on the podcast. So well done, Miso. That is a great find. But that's it for the episode today. It was a nice little patch notes podcast. I'm so happy we got the patch yesterday, and we didn't get much time to really sink into it. So I'm sure next week we'll have more recap on how we're feeling on the patch and stuff. But what are you guys going to be up to the next week until we see you next? Let's start with Rabbit.
I'm going to be playing Path of Exile 2 on my stream for like 8 to 10 hours a day. Surprise. No. For the very, very foreseeable future now, for the next few days, it's gonna be checking out mapping a lot and just like finding my ways into mapping and testing out different strategies and whatever. It's gonna be fun. So if you also want to participate in that, I stream POE 2 every single day on my Twitch stream.
Awesome. Yeah. For me, I am also going to be doing a lot of testing. Though next 2 days I'm going to be gone. I have my cousin's getting married, and I'm going to be officiating the marriage. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. But after that, it's gonna be a lot of testing. I'm gonna be trying to test different like mapping, juicing stuff, but also again trying to get my the Riku character up and trying to get that into maps as well. So lots of things to do. Very, very exciting. But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Your charity. Talk about your charity stream.
Oh yeah, that's right. On Saturday, I am October 4th, right? Saturday, October 4th, I think. I am doing a charity stream. The goal is to raise $750. It's going to start at 11 p.m. Pacific. But basically, what's going to happen is every $100 donated, I'm going to be corrupting a piece of my gear, which, rabbits, like every single day, you just do that. But for me, I don't have that much currency. Currently, I'm sitting at, I think, 13 divs, and my gear is worth like 4, 5, 6, 7x of like how much money that I have on my character. So if I brick something, it's done. So yeah, that's what's gonna happen. Every $100 donated, I'm gonna basically go and break a piece of my gear. And it'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully a good number of people show up for it, and it's supporting a good cause. It's called the charity's called Hope for the Day, and it's basically supporting and raising awareness for mental health issues and supporting those who might struggle with these. So it's for a good cause, and you get to watch me destroy my gear. So it'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully I see a good number of you guys there.
I'll be there, hopefully. Like, it's Saturday, so but yeah, I'm hoping to get you to corrupt something, and I'm gonna try and be the person that pushes it over one of the thresholds. That's really cool, man. I want to talk to you off stream about setting up charity streams at some point, because that's always something I've wanted to do, and it just seems kind of overwhelming at times. So yeah, I'm just curious how it goes for you, and that's cool that you're doing it, man.
Thank you.
Did you have any more outro thing real quick? Sorry, I didn't know if I cut you off.
At the end of the day, right, I don't know if Rabbit talked about his usual socials, whatever, right? As per usual, twitch.tv/MisoXshiro, stream there every single day. And then YouTube, MisoXshiro. If you're watching this on VOD, you're obviously already there. But also, I never really shout out my Discord, but I feel like I should, chill out my Discord a little bit more sometimes, because we have a nice little growing community there. There's people who are like talking there every day, answering questions, asking questions, and it's like the best place to get in contact with me. Like I'm a weirdo. I have notifications for every single message on my Discord. I don't know if you guys have that, but every single message on my Discord, I get it popped up. So
that's probably why you're lacking sleep, my guy.
Well, Rabbit, you have like 4,000 people in your Discord. I have like 800, so it's a little bit different. But yeah, so if you want to get in contact with me, it's like the best way to do it. And there's also a nice community there of people who are just always willing to answer questions and just talk and whatever. So yeah, join my Discord. It's in the description below.
Cool. And yeah, you guys can follow me on
sorry.
YouTube. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, yeah.
Sorry, Caltrack. I forgot one thing. I will be on the Twitch front page on my birthday in 7 days. I just remembered. I forgot about that. I will be on the front page of Twitch for I think 4 hours on my birthday.
7 days?
In 7 days. In 7 days.
We're doing the next podcast. That's cool.
Is it?
I mean, we do them on Wednesdays, so
you don't have to.
Yeah.
We don't have to. I'm just saying we usually do it on Wednesdays.
Sorry to interject, but I just realized. So that's also
that's huge, dude. That's huge, dude. That's sick. Cool. Congrats then. And yeah, you can follow me on YouTube. And I've been streaming more lately. I've been streaming more in the morning, like around, like a little bit towards the end of when Rabbit's streaming. I wake up, go to the gym, and then I've been streaming for a few hours. So if you want to hang out with me, I'm in the build craft mode era of the league where I'm just trying goofy ideas. So if you want to just see me do dumb shit and not be optimal, come hang out. But yeah, we'll be back next week with episode 11. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Bye-bye.
Peace.